Hi, all my gorgeous and beautiful souls. This is Breaking the Cage. It is for March 10th. It is the new moon in Pisces, March 10th through to March 16th. But this is such an exciting and, oh my God, time at the same time. We're just getting whammied with so much energy. But before I get into all of the astrology, what I'm being told to speak about, what I'm channeling, what my guides are giving me, and everything, I need to address a few things first. First off, last week, I do apologize for not being here for you all, but I definitely had to take some special me love time. I don't know what happened, but I drank my water and I eat my food that has a lot of water in it, but somehow I became incredibly dehydrated and I was down for like a good 4 days. I was afraid I was going to be hospitalized. So I had to stop. I had to cancel appointments and really just do some special love me, take care of me time. But while that was going on, I started getting whammied by everything on the spiritual level of where I'm to take this week. Along with one more thing before I get into all of this, starting with this week's energy, I have one more major thing to talk about. Every single week, and this has been happening for months, and I'm saying it for those who actually really are listeners as well of the Matrix Minds, because I always do this show through the Matrix Mind media. But every week for months now, especially after the show has aired, there are scammers coming on and leaving just about anybody who made a comment, including my own self. You know, you can't fall for scammers, da 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 da, but I have that story I need to tell you, or you need to get the reading from me kind of information. And for those who actually are listening to this and actually, really love the Matrix Mind media, y'all need to know as soon as I go back within the next few days or hours after this video has aired, any scammers who start hitting up our listeners, you will be permanently blocked from the Matrix Mind, period. Because we are out here trying to help people move forward. And if you don't even know that I'm the one giving this reading and then you're offering me one, I'm sorry, you're showing that you're fake and you're showing that you deserve to be blocked. And I even spoke with Matt about this first. So, point blank, if you want to stay with Matrix Minds and be able to still hear any of this through Facebook at least, don't do that shit here, because you're going to find yourself blocked real fast. With that being said, I was given, well, I wasn't given, but it's the best way I know of how to lead into this week. We're starting this week with the new moon in Pisces. Then, we're coming into the lunar eclipse, and we're coming into the equinox, and we're coming into the solar eclipse, and then the energies, when I'm looking at them as we're going all the way up through the flipping summer, so into, the solstice even. The best way of me really truly getting into this energy is, it was a little TikTok video I saw. You might have seen it as a meme by now. But the best way of putting it, and I'll go from there, is I am not about to explain to a grown-ass adult what it is that they did wrong. They're a grown-ass adult. They should know what they did wrong. Now, let me shift that just a little bit. We are coming into such a spiritual, not just awakening, because you still have a lot of people coming into that awakening because they're getting bombarded with this stuff that's forcing them to wake up. And you still have an abundant amount of people who are never going to wake up. But spirituality, coming to truly know your soul, coming into the depth, the rabbit hole that is the unique you, and figuring out how to get to that true soul connection, this shit is not for the weak. And we are having to be responsible for our energies, for our actions, and for exercising awareness in our moment to moment life and activity. So, yes, I'm not about to explain, especially on a spiritual level, to a grown ass spiritual adult what it is they've done wrong. Go back and do your homework, your shadow work. And let me just get really, really, really there. Shadow work or dark night of soul, that's not a few days. That shit takes 5, 6, 7 years to truly go over it and over it and over it. We are chiseling away at some of the darkest, most pathetic, disgusting parts of humankind, and still taking that rubber band, as they say, pulling it back. And the farther we pull that rubber band back into, ego and into our negativities and all of this, and we finally launch that rubber band, the further you're going into the light. It's called balance. And it never ends. Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. That right there says a lot. Especially to people who have been on this mission for a while and who see the timelines changing, who see the spiritual work taking place, who are doing and walking that path. Blood, sweat, tears, joy, love, all of it. Like I said, this is not for the weakness. This is for, we are really getting into the depths of what it means to not be doomed to repeat it. I was saying since, 2017, that we were going to be seeing all these things come in. Around 2020, you started hearing people left and right. Is there going to be a civil war? Let me help you to get what I'm trying to get at. Because we're getting closer to a civil war taking place. I don't want to be on a timeline where I'm stuck here in a civil war. I don't want to be in a timeline anymore that this holy crap negativity is part of our life. But unless we pull back and we peel the onion away and we chisel away into the deepest parts of our darkness, are we going to have the strength and the power to truly be of light? Be light. Like, bitch, I'm light. I don't know how else to put that. And you're going to experience a lot of this as we walk through this weekend and into that Pisces Pisces new moon. But it's not going to end there. Like I said, we have the equinox coming. We have the lunar eclipse. We have the solar eclipse. And then, for the way I'm looking at the astrology, it's just so much. Shadow doesn't even make sense anymore. We are really looking at, how is your individuality? Not authenticity. Your individuality. We're talking about Pisces energy, the universal 12th house. Grief, sorrow, shame, blame, skeletons in the closet. Not to Forget the blueprint. I've got plenty to say about the blueprint here in a minute. But grief, sorrow, shame, blame, skeletons in the closet, all of this is taking place coming out of Pisces energy, which is a loaded house right now with Saturn, Nessus, the Sun, Neptune, Mercury. Halfway through the week, Mercury is going to move out and Venus is going to move in. Individuality is a part of how we think we express our unique authenticity. But like I've been saying since 2017, we're learning that we don't even know what authenticity is. We're trying to get deeper into really finding out soulfulness and our oneness and our connection. So when it's coming from really digging deep into our inner blindness, our lack of being able to find the destination in our belief systems that are keeping us from healing and starting new and creating the world we really want to. This means we have to get raw, deep, and real and really chisel away at this. And where is that going to fall into their big game of divide and conquer? How important is it to be right? How important is it to be like me, and I was right and I had the last word? All that is more fear-based crap coming from different levels. And we're going to be we're going to be exercising your spirituality through so much. Are you on point? Because how many times have we said and spoken in our learning, our experiencing, our growth, that everything that outside of you is not your responsibility? I mean, in the sense of you can't be responsible for other people's actions. You are going to have people who are going to turn on you now. Some because they're doing their spiritual work, some because you're no longer beneficial to them. Some because they need a person to blame. And you have got to be able to look at that outside world and go, this really is not about me. What we have to work on is our inner work and acknowledge what is coming at us isn't about us, but how much do we allow it to get inside, grab a hold of us, and infect us? That is what I'm talking about, the divide and conquer. And like I was saying, since 2020, you've been hearing about, are we about to have a civil war? Are you going to keep yourself on a timeline where there is? I was saying back before 2020, Spirit was telling me that, you know, how everything always repeats itself. But what we were seeing in this repeating energy is how materialistic are you? How three-dimensional are you versus truly, soulfully being connected? Because right there is all the difference. How much depth, how important. Nobody can make you do your shadow work. Nobody can make you do your homework, your spiritual work. Nobody can make you meditate every single day. Nobody can make you walk the walk. How much does it mean to you? Will you be part of a timeline where this is the end of days? Are you going to play this game? Or are you going to pull that rubber band back, dissect yourself so much that you are addressing all ill infections and belief systems of grief, sorrow, shame? That you're addressing, you know what? That did happen. This stuff in my past that is being brought up because we're talking about Pisces energy. So this has a lot of nostalgia being brought to you and going, you know what? Yeah, some of this stuff has sucked and it wasn't fair and it wasn't right. But are you still going to grieve it? Are you still going to be living in the past? Or are you going to go, you know what? That sucked. But I'm here today because, bitches, I am the light. Put myself back on that track again. No. Okay. X, delete, void, cancel. Let me step back into my spiritual work. You are responsible for exercising your awareness of your own inner depth and growth. And every exercise that you take part in your daily day-to-day. And I mean it in the way of like my guides laughed their ass off because they're like, did we not tell you that this week and for the next until June, July is all about being cautious about not allowing ourselves to doom ourselves into repeating shit and getting. This is a world of convenience. And if we can't have what we want it right now, we'll look at the third world countries who are still riding bikes because they don't have cars. We in the United States are seriously so wrapped up in convenience and materialistic stuff that we can't slow down to be responsible for our moment-to-moment actions. And the reason I'm saying this is where I live, you have to take you can't go both directions. You have to go one way. But everybody comes up, and if nobody's coming the other way, we all dart the wrong direction and break the law and go down that other side of the road because we don't want to drive this way, go all the way up to the light, turn around, come back down, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I did it, I heard my higher self and my guides just being, what were we just talking about being responsible for every moment, being in awareness. As soon as I did it, boom, there's a cop. Got a ticket. I couldn't even be mad. I was like, because I did it. But this is what I'm talking about. I've been saying energies coming out of left field, but they're not coming out of left field. This is stuff that we don't expect because we're so comfortable and convenient with following things the way we are instead of doing the healing and the hard work we have to do. Everything we do, we are ultimately responsible for, whether we want to be or not. You can point all the fingers out as far as you want, but you're the only one who can change it. Now, let me get into a different level of this before I actually get into the astrology and help you understand why I'm going the way I'm going with this and how deep I am getting into it, because we're no longer in spirituality for newbies. I'm sorry, but we're not. We are in either you're in this for the long haul or peace out, get the fuck up out of here. Sorry, but that's pretty much where we're starting to get, because this is the long haul of changing it and making the world what we want it to be, or get in a different margin. And when I say that, I've said to people a million times, your vibrational frequency works in margins. So just like a margin for paper, or on a computer, your margin is here and here. You can't really write outside here. You have to stay within the margin. Well, if your margin is from 1 to 10, and you're at a 10, starting to go into a new set of margins, you're moving away from those who are at a 1. And as you come into that other, they can't no longer connect. Vibrations are that way. You can't be that way. And what I'm trying to get at is, as we're getting into these deeper dissolving and breaking of these habits and these false truths of our own selves, of our own lives, of our own beliefs, of the society we've created and we've allowed to be a part of, because sheep versus goat, if you know animal medicine at all, the goat is known for being able to climb cliffs for very sheer footing, watching his ass and making sure he's going to make it, for grounded, very, very grounded, even on the slightest, almost ready to fall off that cliff. This is the energies we're looking at. Are you going to fall off the cliff? When we get into the blueprint, I'm going to go backwards from the way I normally do, because normally I start with your Aries energy up here in your head and your third eye. But I'm going to start with why it's so important, because for those of you who followed me for any amount of time, know I have said that I have been told over and over and over again to try to express that it is no longer sufficient for us to only pay attention and work with the upper 7 chakras. When we ignore the lower 7 chakras, chakras of consciencelessness, because this is all of the ego, fear, despair, inadequacy, jealousy. I can't get ahead, so I'm just going to steal it. Push and shove, malice, the worst of the worst. And it's not just that we're dealing with the worst of the worst, which what most people aren't comprehending is, in those lower chakras, an ill lower chakra, we're looking at these energies that are unhealed. But that sifts up and it has conversations with the upper 7 chakras, causing more blockages. I don't know how many people I have talked to in the last 2 months who are telling me how their knees, their calves, their ankles, and their feet are killing them. Well, of course. You were talking about when it's chakras in its ill form. Like I said, your feet chakra is all about the full-on inner blindness. It's all about the full-on inner blindness. It's all about, well, you know what? They owe me. I've done this much hard work. I've been there for that person. I've done this. I've done that. Da na 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 na. And you know what? The only way I'm gonna ever get square is they owe me. So damn it, I don't care what it does to them. I don't care how it hurts them. I'm not trying to be negative. Then that goes into where it literally turns into torture and murder. That's the feet. And where we're so in despair of not getting what we need, you know that messes with your root chakra. It messes with your heart chakra. It messes with your solar plexus. And for crying out loud, it's got to mess with the solar plexus. How are you going to have a healthy, energetic will of I am and move forward and be of light and of light when you still have, well, why the hell can't we still have so much three-dimensional materialistic world that has tortured us, and we're still learning how to break this habit. Spirituality is not for the weak. When we come into the calves, it's about prolonged confusion, instinctive willfulness. That's push and shove. It's a dog-eat-dog world versus trying to be of light. There is nobody on this planet that is a human who does not need healing, including healers. And if a healer is telling you that they've done all of their work and they're completely under control, they are freaking lying and wrong and haven't done enough shadow work. Because as soon as you get through some of that shadow, oh, there's so much more. We're done chiseling over here, so let's start over here. It will never end. Because how else are you going to become a perfect prism of light until you're ready to accept everything and find that nothing has the power to take your vibration and your energy away from you unless you gave it away. And I've said it a million times. That's us giving our power away because we're hurt. Part of what makes us great is our emotions, because we couldn't have so much love to give if we couldn't hurt. But that doesn't mean we have to hold on to it. But a lot of us have problems releasing it and forgiving and accepting ourselves, or not feeling abandoned, or not feeling that we're not worthy. And a lot of us stay in naive, manipulating relationships because truly believing in ourselves can feel lonely, because finding people who are truly on this growth path or on the same consciousness as you is few and far in between, but it's worth it. Again, everything always repeats. Everything repeats. You'll be doomed to repeat it if you forget to learn from it. You forget to remember. We are just looking at so many reasons on our relationships with ourselves, inside of ourselves, the stories we tell ourselves, the excuses we give ourselves, and then we look into the relationships with the world we have around us and how it affects our spiritual growth, our soulful growth, our body, and creates illnesses and diseases. And we're finding issues, like I said, so many people, when we're looking at these lower chakras from the hips down, you have, hold on, I need a sip of my drink. And not everybody's in a negative here, but we all have negatives that we have to chisel out. But what I'm trying to get at is, we have Palace in the 9th house. You have Pholos and Sirius. That's a big deal. Even though everybody thinks it's not a big deal because you don't have too many people talking about it, Sirius is karma. Sirius is the threefold. She is speaking to you about what you nurture or what you neglect. And that is in the outer world of Capricorn. It is the father energy. It is the authority energy. It is society energy. And where you allow that world outside of you to have authority over you. Like I was saying in the beginning of the video, everything that's outside of you is not you. And where are you allowing it to beat up on you and still play that game? Sirius is speaking to you about nurturing or neglecting your own authority in that outer world and becoming the power of your own life in that world. She's speaking to you about nurturing, neglecting, and karma, the threefold of what you've put out. How responsible are you being? Then Folos is about not slipping up. Not slipping up. This is a time for awakened consciousness. I mean, like consciousness about your consciousness, about your unconsciousness. No time to close your eyes. Be aware. Then you're going in to that 11th house where Pluto now is with Mars, Catty Claw, which is the shaman. The shaman and Pluto right there is talking about, because everybody's talking about Pluto being in Aquarius. But it's not just that Pluto is in Aquarius. He's in Aquarius with the shaman. This is some slap you down. We're changing the whole world. Death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, regeneration. Let me throw all of the hidden all up in your face. From your tribe to your dreams. And just who are you and what will you be in this energy? Then you also have Mars and Venus here. But Venus is about to move out and go into the 12th house with Saturn, Nessus, the curse, the ancestral curse of where we are not healing and where we keep getting slapped down over and over again by the curse. Then the Sun, Neptune, and Mercury, which Mercury will be moving into Aries. But it ain't losing energy because, like I said, Venus is coming in. You have, in that Pisces energy, the most biggest levels of our consciencelessness, of our inner blindness, of the deepest levels of our fears, is picking up energies from Saturn, Nessus, the Sun, Neptune, Mercury, and then Venus midweek. That's not just picking up the energies of Pisces. This is like slap you down in your feet in all of the levels of consciousness, all of the levels of denial, all of the levels of inner blindness, rules, walls, boundaries. Where is your ancestral curses that you're not seeing? Where are you still pointing everything outside of you and not taking responsibility? And then it's talking to the chakras about how you're creating stuff. I'm just wanting you to see how fully developed this energy is about, are you willing to do your spiritual work? Just how much does it mean for you to heal, for you to come through inadequacy, inferiority, jealousy, lust of, well, I just want to see the change so bad. There's so much we are all going through. So we have got to remember to love ourselves, do the inner work, acceptance of ourselves, give ourselves that self-love, give ourselves a pat on the back, remind ourselves that it's okay to go through what we're going through, but also remember, with the craziness that's going on outside, this is not you. This is this is not who you want to be, especially with the way some of these people are going to address us. And we've got to remember that's not a reflection of us. We're getting into just how on point, How mature are you? It's not just about controlling your inner emotions. As I always say, if you can't control your inner chaos, you'll never harness your power. This is so much more than that. This is exploring how much chaos there really is and not even trying to harness our power, just trying to love ourselves right so we can make the change to become the light. It's not going to happen like this. How much do you want it? Then we get into the upper part of the body. You have the North Node and Chiron, which is on the spinal cord. I always tell you the spinal cord directly connects with the zeal point. The zeal point is what opens you up for psychic attack when you're now awake and you don't know how to protect yourself. It is the actual communication from the brain being sent up and down through all the chakras, not just those 7, all the way down through the feet, and what it is that it's communicating. The North Node is about learning everything you need to learn in order to move forward to start a new cycle, about acknowledging where we damn ourselves. Chiron is about being the wounded healer. It's always great at pointing it out on everyone else. So this is about also going, where is it a mirror? Versus, no, it really isn't about me. That's their issue. But I have to see what my issues are in this situation. Where am I still in beliefs that don't truly help me? When we come into Jupiter, abundance, manifestation, anything it touches, it amplifies. And while it truthfully is like in the kidneys and lower back area, it is sitting in Taurus right now in the neck nerves, in our nerves of speaking and listening and communicating. Then you have Uranus, which is now on the lymph nodes. This is also talking about, being able to be flexible, healthy. And because the lymph nodes can control if you can move that neck or not. If you're in pain, if the tension is caught up in this supernatural highway between the heart and the third eye and the crown. I coulda, shoulda, woulda. Maybe I shoulda. If I would have done it that way, I coulda. No, that shit will drive you crazy. What you could have done is realize that the past is the past. 5 minutes ago is the past. All we have is now. When we get into Vista, I was saying for the longest time, Vista was on the arms, but now Vista is on the wrists and the fingers. But Vista speaks to us about sacrificing commitment. And all that I can really give you from that one is watch how much finger pointing you see going on. She's sacrificing commitment with the keys to opening the doors. The keys to everything you need. She's not sacrificing commitment. I'm sorry. She is simply the keys to opening up the doors. And are you using them or not? And watch the finger pointing that's going to be going on, or the fists that will be coming out. Then we move all the way over to Lilith, which is in Virgo. And it is sitting on the pancreas. We are getting into that sacral chakra and the root chakra, technically, I believe. And the pancreas's job is working with digestion. But this is really going to be also for people with diabetes coming into this energy, because the pancreas's job is to break down sugar, fats, and starches. So watch the cravings of unhealed energies from that pancreas and watch the problems that it's causing. Feeling that in the body. This is the body's way of telling you when you're having these leg pains, these knees pains, and like I said, calf or whatever, understanding these chakras and then knowing how it's communicating with the rest of the body. It's telling you where the healing is that needs to take place, where you're in denial, where that inner blindness is, because it's trying to help. But so many people only want to talk about the upper 7 chakras without fully knowing how to even go about doing the work, because they won't even deal with the lower information. So they're not really providing healing. They're just providing distraction. When we get into the astrology this week, you're going to have that moon, which is going to be going through Pisces, and then it's going to be going into Aries, where that moon in Aries will be with Mercury, or coming up through and passing Mercury. And it's also going to be dealing with Chiron in the North Node, where it is going to be questioning your relationship, who you are within these relationships, how strong the relationship is. It's the 7th house. And remember, you have a relationship to anything you care about. It's not just people. When you have no car, you know all about your lack going on within the relationship because of the lack of having the car. When you have no money, you know all about your relationship with your finances. And that has a lot going on right now. See, because finances is technically the universal 2nd house. And it speaks to us also. This is what everybody messes up in here when they're getting into the astrology and they're getting into the energy. Your finances also have a lot to do with your self-worth, self-value, and self-esteem. That has a lot to do with your vibration. And when you're bouncing in and out of vibration, high vibration, low vibration, high vibration, you're not one vibration. You are changing vibration as your day goes. And what is happening around you, unless you're fully in control of it. But emotionally, many of us are not. So when we're looking at the ideas of this Aries energy with the moon here, addressing our emotional energies within our character and how we identify with the world, it's also going to be speaking directly with the relationships of what's important to us and where we, as a character, human being, our responsibility in this. Then we move into that energy going into Taurus, which was what I was saying, that self-worth, self-value, self-esteem comes with possession. Power of possession, power of being able to financially create and make something. This is where your cell phone becomes the possession that is most important to you, because it's without your cell phone, you feel naked. But on the bigger scale here, the possession is, are you the possession? Or do you have possession of your own power, your own self-worth, your own value, your own vibration? Are you bringing the manifestation to you because of that? And that is Jupiter and Uranus, which is questioning Mars in that 11th house. Your dreams, your goals, your ambitions, being able to believe in them, being able to bring them into fruition. Your tribe, the people that either manipulate you and take advantage and you're naive and fall for it, or the tribe that truly supports you. This is all showing itself. Then you're going to have that Gemini energy, which is completely questioning Pluto throughout the week as it comes to the end of the week. Going into communication with, can you believe in yourself and what you want? Can you breathe it into life? Can you see the depth of who and what you are and breathe it into life? Your difficulties this week is Uranus And that second house is not getting along with Mars. Part of the week, Jupiter also is not. But that Uranus and Mars all week. Your independence, individuality, uniqueness, coming into power of yourself, or are you not reclaiming it? And are you reclaiming it wrong from the level of, I'm going to push and shove to get it? That's just fear. That's not real. Then you have Lilith. A lot of this has to do with our sixth house, but our daily activities and where our daily activities don't serve us well. You've got the sixth house with Lilith, which is fighting that universal 12th house, inner blindness of Saturn, Sun, and Neptune. Nessus as well. Might as well throw that in there. Mercury will be going out. Venus will be coming in. So the abundance of that universal 12th house, inner blindness, inner lowest levels of fears that we don't even acknowledge we have because we haven't chiseled away enough to acknowledge that it's there until we're ready to snap, versus your daily activities, your daily energy routine diet. It's not just your food. It's your energy diet, people, places, things. Your mundane is only mundane because we do it so repetitively, we do not realize how much power it has. And is it in comfort zone instead of, let me step into all that I am? Let me really do this work and move forward. The South Node and the North Node in Chiron obviously are having an issue, but you're also going to have Mercury moving through here at near the end of the week. So this is, again, back to identifying who you are in this relationship versus what is the relationship. Your positives this week, though, is that South Node in that relationship zone is getting along wonderfully with Mars in the 11th house. Being able to step into creativity if you're willing to embrace it. Being able to step into your goals, your dreams, your ambitions, getting your tribe's assistance or know-how or beliefs. It's there for you if you're willing to embrace it. You have Lilith getting along great with Uranus and Jupiter, the sixth house. If you're willing to step into who you are, take your power back, not threaten it, not force it, just be all that you are. In the power of you, in the acknowledgement, in the devotion of the exploration of your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, self-love, and apply it to your daily routines, your mundane tasks, your diet, your energy food diet. And then you have Jupiter, which is getting along with Saturn wonderfully. So abundance on these new rules, laws, and boundaries if you're willing to address them, because that's a sextile. You can make powerful changes right now. But that means you've got to see that inner blindness. You've got to maneuver the shifting of the rules, laws, and boundaries and get out of the comfort zone. You have that Uranus is getting along great with the sun, allowing it to shine on the healing that you wish, or the naive that you wish to ignore. That North Node and Chiron is getting along great with Venus and Mars in the beginning of the week. Coming into that balance. But this all has to do with just how raw and how deep and how real are you going to take this change? What world are you creating? Because if you're not being fully responsible, then don't bitch about it. I love you guys. Bye.